What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? It's been a while, but y'all know I was busy having a video. Having a video. I was busy having a baby because in this video, I'm going to talk about how I ended up giving birth to our son, Breech, in the back of my husband's truck. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for following me on my over 40 and pregnant journey. I am no longer pregnant, so I'm going to have to change the name to this journey, but it's going to still be in the same place. If you guys want to go back and look at all the videos, that'll be great. But the story started with, so I decided now, y'all know I've been on this kick with just your body, your baby, your choice. Okay, period, point blank. Your body, your baby, your choice. And if you can't remember that, I'm telling you guys, you will. It's so empowering. It's so empowering. But anyway, so I started having contractions on Sunday. Okay, the Sunday before he was born, and he was born on Tuesday. But that Sunday, I really didn't have like a lot of contractions. One second, I want to fix my ring light. The height is annoying me. It's cutting off my hair. Okay, there we go. Even though my bun is kind of messy, but whatever, it's a messy bun. Anywho, let me get back to the story. All right. So I started having contractions on Sunday. But these weren't like, they almost felt like Braxton Hicks contractions, to be honest. They were regular though. So I guess you should be aware of that. They were regular contractions. Like I was having them every 10 minutes, but it was just a tightening of my stomach. Like my stomach would just get real hard and I would just look down like, oh, look, that's a contraction. And then it would just go away. And so I was like, well, I'm not really in labor, whatever. And at this point, by this time, we had already decided that we were going to do a home birth. I can't remember what I talked about, honestly, how I got to that point. But if you guys want to know, I'll do another video about how I decided to do a home birth, okay? So anyway, I got there and I was, going through the day and then I went to bed and then the next day was Monday and I really didn't have like barely any contractions, which was pissing me off. I was like, I'm not gonna have this baby because I'm 40 weeks. At that point, I'm 40 weeks plus 2 days. Excuse me, 40 weeks in a day. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm overdue. And I just want to be done with this. I literally was so ready to just have the baby. And so I did the stairs. Okay. I was up and down them stairs, just, going up the stairs, coming down the stairs, literally just 10 times. I would just do it 10 times in a row, up and then down. And then I would give myself a break. I'd do it again. I got on my ball. I would roll around on that ball for hours and hours. I did yoga. I went to the mall. I went walking. I had sex. Yes. Doggy style. Did all of that. Trying to get him to come. But Tuesday the contractions they were just sporadic. They weren't coming regularly. I mean Monday they were just like, I'm like, dang man, what's what I got to do? And I was getting nervous because y'all know the hospital. If you've been following my journey, I don't know how I feel about the hospital. They've been trying to get me to get a C-section for like since we found out he was breech, and I'm like, period. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I want to do. So that night, Monday night, I went to bed midnight. Okay, so Tuesday morning, 12 a.m., my contractions woke me up out my sleep with an ouch, vengeance. So I got up on my knees. My husband was laying next to me. He's sleeping. I got up on my knees and I just kind of rocked it out, hummed it out. And I'm like, all right, I got this. I got this. Then it was 12:27. I laid down. I went back to sleep. 12:27. Woke my ass back up. I'm like, ooh, okay. Okay, so I hummed through it. This time my husband, start rubbing my back. And then I laid down again. 1 o'clock, contraction again. Painful contractions this time. So I was like, all right, this might be it. And so, but then and up until we gave birth, my contractions were every 10 minutes. And I literally was like, oh my God, like it was crazy. So 1 a.m., I'm having contractions. They're every 10 minutes. I want to say to you guys, listen, turn it off. Turn it off. Thank you. Having somebody there who is supportive of you is priceless. Okay, you got to have somebody who supports your journey, who supports you. I mean, my husband was so good. Like, he was so good to me, y'all. Like, he rubbed my back. When I at one point, I forgot everything that I went to birthing classes. Y'all seen that video. I forgot everything. I was just holding my breath like, and he like, come on, baby, breathe. And he got down on his knees and he put his face next to my face and he said, and I started humming. That was the moment that I really wanted to just cry, not because I was in pain, but because I just thought that was just so beautiful. Like I was afraid that because I was in labor, I was going to be mean but I'm telling you, he was the best support coach ever. It was amazing. But anyway, so I did that at 3 a.m. I texted my midwife and the other people who were going to participate inside of the birth. Okay, my nurse, one of my best friends, she's a nurse, and she was a nurse when she lived in Puerto Rico. Now she lives in the States, and she was, she supported me as the midwife during this birth. And so I texted her. I said I probably got about 3 to 4 more hours of these contractions before we actually go into, the harder parts of labor. And so I still went through that. My husband kept rubbing my back. One thing I'm going to tell y'all is about your body is your body starts to, when you going into labor, your body do what it's supposed to do. Like we were built to birth, literally. Women were built to birth. Our body, like I literally started using the bathroom, having bowel movements every single time. I didn't even know I had that much shit inside of me. Okay, literally, I was pooping before, after every contraction, I had to poop again. So I was doing that. I was, having, I was peeing all over ugh. I had to pee every time as well. So it was just, and my body was just like, kind of felt like I was cleansing my own self out in preparation for this birth. So the 4 hours passed and my midwife gets there. She gets there about 7:20. When she gets there, she checks me for dilation. I was like 2.5 centimeters dilated, almost 3. And she then gave me a couple of minutes because I was getting ready to have another contraction. She checked the baby's heart rate during the contraction, after the contraction, and his heart rate was 120, which was good because it was supposed to be between 120 and 160. So she said it's a little bit low, but his heart rate is good. She just said, just keep breathing, keep going through it and everything. One thing that I thought was very valuable that my midwife told me, she said that I know that when you're in the hospital, they tell you don't push at all until they tell you to. She said, but listen, every time you have a contraction, push a little bit. Help that baby down. Push a little bit. And so I did that. Like every time I had a contraction, I pushed a little bit. I just, just bear down just a little bit and to be honest, it helps you get through the contraction. It wasn't as painful because I felt like I was bearing down. And I was like helping my body. I was really working with my body. And I'm grateful that my contractions were 10 minutes apart because between the contraction, I was able to lay down. Like soon as I got done, I was just like, ugh. And I would just like lay down and I can't remember, but they said as soon as I would fall asleep and like I would snore, like get one snore and I would have to wake right back up because the contraction was time for a contraction. But either way, I'm going through it. I'm contracting. So by this time it's like 8:30 when she checked the baby's heart rate. And then at 9:09 a.m. on 2/7/23, I had a contraction. I bared down a little bit and then it sounded like a water balloon popped. It was like just like, and then all of this fluid just was all over the bed. Now, of course, we had the bed prepared. It was all sanitized and there was plastic and all of that crap and all that stuff down there, but it just went everywhere. And when my water broke, y'all, it felt better to me. I don't know if the difference in being medicated, when my water broke, I felt like it was a big relief for me. I don't know. I just felt better. And so we were, when the water broke, my midwife, I'm telling you, she a G. Okay. She a real G because I was in labor and was like grossed out by it. But anyway, she picked the water up and she checked the water and she was smelling because it looked like meconium was in the water. So it looked like the baby had a bowel movement in me. And she said, I think this is meconium. So she said, and since this is meconium, we want to go ahead and go to the hospital because there is a possibility if the baby was inhaling this in this fluid, there could be, chance of infection and things like that. So we needed to go to the hospital. And so I said, okay. So my daughter was there as well. She was recording. She was putting, making sure that, recording. I'll make sure I'll make a video of that footage that she got of me giving birth. But when it was time to go to the hospital, Queenie, shut your door. I'm doing a YouTube video. Goodness grief. So she was recording the process and everything, but at this point it was like everybody got hype, you know what I mean? It was like, oh my god, like we need to go, we're concerned about the baby. The recording went out the window, like everything went kind of like array. Okay, so I'm like I said, my contractions weren't as bad when my water broke, so I put my depend on the depends that you use for afterbirth, and then I also put on some jogger pants. My midwife helped me get dressed, but I walked down the stairs out my bedroom. I walked right down. I just walked out, walked down the stairs out the house, climbed in the truck. It was nothing like, I was just walking. I know I was in labor, but I was just walking. I'm like, okay, I got this. So I get in the back of the truck and I get on all fours, because when I have a contraction, I know I prefer to be on my hands and knees. And so I get on my hands and knees, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to have a contraction. So I put my head down, I hum through it. And when I had that contraction, I could feel like the baby was rumping. Okay. So the baby is Breech. We knew he was Breech, but we knew we didn't want to do a C-section. So we had already prepared for a breech birth at home. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. In my mind, I knew what was going on. I'm like, the baby is rumping. This baby is about to come. And my husband is driving. He's speeding down the road trying to get to the nearest hospital. And so I just follow my natural instincts. When I felt the baby rumping, I took down my pants. I took off that depend. I pulled it down as far as I could get it. And I was like, I'm about to have another contraction. And when I had that contraction, I just started pushing. I bear down. At this point, my daughter turns around and she was like, oh my God, the baby's butt is halfway out of ma. And so my husband at this time, he like, oh my God. So he looks back, and when he looks back, the baby's legs had already spontaneously released. So by this time, everything from the baby's chest, his legs were out, and then my daughter was just like, okay, Mom, you got to get the baby out. My husband like, Queenie, you got to get back there. You got to catch the baby. And then she goes, oh my God, but I got she got these long stiletto nails. She was like, but I got these nails on, and I don't have any hand sanitizer. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, why do you care about hand sanitizer? Baby is about to be delivered in the work truck. It's dirt all over these seats. Like, oh my goodness, what the hell? So, but anyway, but by that time, I did one last push. His arms and his head came out all at one time, and he fell on the seat. And then I pulled him through my legs, and he cried immediately. And that cry, y'all just don't even know. Like, it was just amazing. It was amazing. The whole experience was amazing. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I don't even know. I just continue to like be in so much gratitude from this experience. And I can't wait to learn what other questions you guys got. There's some videos that I'm going to make, and I'm definitely going to make a series about, just respecting yourself, respecting your decisions. I'm going to shout out a couple of people on that you can follow, where you can get your birthing rights. You can get some legal things put in place to make sure they respect your wishes as a mom to be. And but yeah, so after, like I said, I put him up under my shirt so we can be skin to skin, and I held him. We did get that on video camera. She didn't get any of the birth, which I was disappointed at, but whatever. She was shocked. Like, she couldn't even believe. And she had to be my coach at that moment too. She had to coach me through giving birth, because I was delivering a breech baby in the back seat of a Ford 250. Like, somebody got to tell you what's happening. And her words telling me, okay, Mom, his legs are out, his body is out. You just got, you know what I mean? Like, that was helpful for me. And so we get to the hospital, and she runs in, and they pull out a wheelchair. And I don't even know how I got out the truck because the umbilical cord was still attached to me and the placenta was still inside of me. And I was just holding him, and the umbilical cord is like kind of coming up through my pants up here. And we got in the wheelchair, and they wheeled me into the hospital. And in the hospital, I had to get mommy mode. Yes, you have to know your rights. You got to know what you want, because I wanted to keep my placenta. They wanted to. They like, oh, you want your placenta? Yes, I want my placenta. Is there a policy for that here? Because if there's not, I would have took my ass right back home, and I'm not playing. I would have went right back outside. We would have cut the umbilical cord, and then I would have took my baby into the ER by himself so that they could have treated him. We would have went in separately. I would not have allowed them to, because that is what I wanted. That is what I wanted, and I knew what I wanted. But I was able to keep my placenta and everything. And then they tried to take my cord blood. I'm like, what are you doing? No, don't do that. They tried to take my baby away from me when it got to the hospital. And I'm like, no, give me my baby. I want to be skin to skin with him, because it's so important for that skin to skin time when they first come out. Like, it was just so much that you need to know about giving birth and the importance of these things. And once I learned those things, I knew that they wasn't about to take my baby. And so I had let my cord pulsate for the 10 minutes that I wanted to. My husband still got to cut the cord. We got that on camera as well. And I am just so grateful about this process, and I'm so excited about just really my baby, my body, my choice. And I am just so excited about my experience. I know that it was a crazy experience, and many people can be scared about having a breech birth, but breech birth does not have to be scary. Education is the key. You have to educate yourself, and you won't be scared anymore. But this video is long enough. I thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll be willing to answer any questions that you guys have. And I am going to talk more about the process and my choice of having a home birth opposed to having a cephalic birth, and the options and some of the experiences that I had. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, subscribe to the channel, share this video if you'd like to learn more about breech birthing, and if you also want to follow the journey that I'm going to be doing with my little man. As you can hear him in the background doing it. He's sleeping, so I wanted to do a video now. So I will put him in the next video. All right. Thank you guys. I'm so grateful that you watched and tuned in. Bye-bye.